With 2025 behind us, I wanted to take a moment to talk about a game that kept my attention for most of the year, and then some. Not only would I consider this game one of the most underrated games in its genre, but one of the best rhythm games ever made, period. Today, we'll be talking about the best rhythm game you've never played. A large amount of gamers know about that feeling of opening a gift on Christmas or going to a friend's house and seeing that big nostalgic plastic guitar held together by hopes and dreams. While Guitar Hero may not have been the first or even the best rhythm game, it certainly launched a cultural renaissance among the category. Everyone wanted a piece of the Guitar Hero cake, and as a result, we got so many different iterations of this formula that was now so popular. Want a similar game with more? Rock Band. Want a game that has no guitars and has you remixing a bunch of licensed music? DJ Hero. Want to actually play the fucking guitar? Rocksmith. Guitar Hero made popular what had already been dominating behind the scenes and made it accessible to the average household, with it even making waves to this day, so much so that Harmonix, the original devs of Guitar Hero, were bought by Epic Games to make Fortnite Festival for the hit game Unreal Engine Fortnite. But that's not what we're going to be talking about today. The video is titled The Best Rhythm Game You've Never Played, and not only am I sure that you've heard of all these games that I've listed, but by way of technicality, you now have heard of them as I've just mentioned them. The game we're going to be talking about today is a little early access title called Ex Xdriver. For the remainder of the video, I will also be calling it Xdriver, as the name is too many syllables for good viewer retention, and it's also very hard to say. Xdriver takes a lot of aspects from normal rhythm games, notes on a highway, banging soundtracks, and ridiculous note counts, and does it in a way that, in my opinion, puts it above the average. Let's look at the note highway, for instance. The reason this game has driver in its title is because it has a driving theme. The note highway resembles an actual highway, and the background tries to invoke those kind of vaporwave car videos that were all the rage back in the day. Even the mechanics, which we'll get into later, are themed around the idea of driving a car. This car theming gives way for Xdriver to have its own visual identity, which in turn makes it stand out among the crowd of the ever-increasing indie rhythm game. Then we have the mechanics. If you play a lot of casual rhythm games, there's usually only about 5 inputs, in some cases even less, like with Crypt of the Necrodancer or Rift of the Necrodancer, though those games are by no means casual. Xdriver sets itself apart in this regard because on the surface it appears that there are 6 inputs, which is already more than common rhythm games, but in reality it actually has 10. A big thing to note about this game is that unlike most, Xdriver actually has 2 note highways. All of the controls for each highway is on the corresponding side of the keyboard. You'll notice the left highway has ASD on it, while the right highway has the left semicolon and that is an apostrophe. Okay, but you might be asking, what about the other 4 inputs you mentioned earlier? That's where the 2 secret-ish, if you haven't played the tutorial, mechanics come in. Drifting and shifting. As stated previously, these 2 mechanics are named after the driving terms and add our remaining 4 inputs to the main control scheme of Xdriver. If you've been watching the gameplay in the background, you might have noticed the screen tilting back and forth every so often. Here's an example of what I mean right now. This is called drifting, and it actually is manually controlled by the player. However, there is a more casual version of it that you can turn on for auto drifting if you're not quite skilled enough to do it manually yet. This is how I played before I kind of got into the real nitty-gritty of how it worked. With drifting, the game will show you a drift direction indicated by these dots here, and you, the player, must press the corresponding Alt key or tilt your controller to gain a points bonus for all the notes pressed while drifting. The drift key must be held the entire time while playing, which adds a level of complexity and difficulty in the harder songs. Drifting on its own is pretty simple, but deceptively complex, and it adds so much to the ecosystem of the game. So many times where you miss points by not drifting, or even just let go of a drift early and take a little bit of a penalty. It adds so much to the game, on top of being an additional input you have to press that makes it so you have to hold like your thumb in weird positions while still pressing the other 4 keys. Harkening back to the background gameplay, you may have also noticed these horizontal Mars, what the Harkening back to the background gameplay, you may have also noticed these horizontal bars moving in the background as well. Here's a big red circle and an arrow pointing like those clickbait YouTube thumbnails to just show you what I'm talking about. These bars represent the other major mechanic, shifting. While not nearly as complex or difficult, shifting still adds a level of depth that calls for the player to not be too careless. Unlike most other rhythm games, Ex Xdriver doesn't actually punish you for over-pressing notes unless they're too close to the end of the note highway. Notes close to the end of the highway are auto-detected and scored when the corresponding button is pressed. So if I spam the D key, I won't get punished until the D note gets within a certain distance of the end of the note highway. Shifting is the exception to this idea. See, in Ex Xdriver, shifts come in pairs. For the sake of the video, I'll be calling the first one upshift and the second one downshift. When the shift bar appears on the highway, as you might expect, the player must press the corresponding shift key. This activates an upshift when pressed in time of the song. Now, the player cannot press that same shift key again until the next downshift bar appears in the song. If the player presses it too many times, too quickly, the player will be stuck in a downshift until the next shift passes, making them auto-miss the note. This mechanic is deceptively simple, as all rhythm game players know that getting those FZs is super crucial to feeling like a master of your game, and if you're too careless and you spam the button too much, this can ruin what would otherwise be a perfect song score for you. Now that we know how to play the game, let's discuss the real meat and potatoes of this game, the music. With any rhythm game, mechanics mean nothing if the tracks are hot garbage. And in my opinion, it's safe to say that this game has probably one of the most consistent soundtracks in rhythm games that I've played so far. Not to mention, they're actually still in early access right now, and the next update, as of the time of this video is being recorded, will add 5 more songs and still hasn't released yet. Hopefully, by the time this video is out, it does. But there are songs for every kind of player. You have more mellow and chill songs. You have these super high energy, hard EDM, more vapor wavy tracks, quick tracks, just every single thing you can imagine track-wise is in this game, and it's all like a beautiful EDM kind of just modern soundtrack. I simply cannot emphasize enough just how good a majority of these tracks are. I've even added a few of them to my own personal music playlist on YouTube here. They're just incredible. And then there's the charting. Holy shit. When you get into the later difficulties, each chart feels damn near perfect. Even when switching between difficulties, they feel pretty good. Low-level tracks on low difficulties feel pretty simple, and high-level tracks on high difficulties are damn near unmatched in their quality. Every note feels correctly placed, the syncing is spot on, and the flow is unmatched. I implore you, if you explored this game for no other reason, please look at the soundtrack. It is incredible. Some other things that I kind of want to mention, but I didn't really feel like making dedicated segments talking about them for the video, but I felt like they're worth mentioning. Tracks are actually divided by 2 different difficulty levels in this game. One is numbers, one is colors. The numbers are more for like play order in my experience, basically showing kind of like what songs you should play early and kind of how you should move into the higher difficulties. The colors are the actual difficulty, in which there are 5 distinct modes. I'm not going to name all of them here, and one of them is technically secret, as one track has it, but these are usually the things that increase your note density and number of other different factors. Included with those difficulty things, the game uses a star chart system to kind of show you how songs are divided up and how they'll be utilized, like what things in the song will be more or less difficult based on the star points. I don't actually remember what all of them do because some of them are a little bit more technically advanced than my knowledge, but I know for sure that density is directly related to the note density on the highway, and the chord is effectively holding multiple notes at one time. The game also has full custom song implementation before its full launch. I do need to mention, however, as it stands, the devs currently have asked anybody who makes custom songs for this game to get permission from the song creators before they create custom tracks, so I will ask you to do the same because it is the devs' wishes. I do not want them to get in trouble because this game is incredible. There is a leaderboard system that's pretty cool and shows your position among friends, yourself, or even global positioning. I'm usually in the top 100 or so players in global positioning, so see if you can beat my scores. I'm sure it wouldn't be that hard. There are multiple modes, including multiplayer, which I've actually never played, but maybe more people will pick this game up after this video, and I will be able to do that. The game, while in early access, feels relatively feature complete and is mainly focused on adding more content to the main game, adjusting things like values, or even adjusting how the meters read in-game. It seems as well that their main focus is kind of just getting more songs. I think with every update that's come out since I've started playing, every update has added at least 3 songs, or in some cases added new charts for songs that existed already. Another cool note is that due to the fact that this game doesn't really care if you spam buttons, completion is actually not based on a pass-fail system like Guitar Hero, but is instead based on a scoring system. If you can complete a 75% score on this little meter here, you will get a pass, where anything else is considered a fail. However, even if you don't pass a song, it still posts your score on the leaderboard, because some of these songs are so goddamn hard, sometimes you just gotta fight your way through it and just get your points. The best and final part of this game is that it's completely free. No entry fee at all. So if you don't like it, don't even worry about it. Just try it out and see how it makes you feel. That's really it. I'm sure I could glaze this game for 1,000,000 more hours, but I don't think I want the video to go that long. I just really want more people to check this game out. It barely has any players according to its Steam charts. And even though the devs try their hardest, not every gamer has the ability to know about these wonderful hidden gems. Please give the devs as much support as you can. Join their Discord, check out the game for yourself, follow them on Bsky. Just please give them the support that I know they deserve. This rhythm game could be absolutely incredible. It is absolutely worth your time to check out Ex Xdriver. It is just incredible. Please, please, please check this game out. Alright, that was my cool, fun rant about Ex Xdriver. Thank you guys for watching this month's video. I kind of tried to make it a bit longer than my other ones as a testament to making the new year have a bit longer form content overall. A bit of a game update about the one that I talked about a handful of videos ago. I've actually currently put it on the back burner for the time being. I kind of realized that in terms of scope, it was a super big undertaking. And while I do eventually want to kind of transition into making the game and focusing on that game's content, I don't quite have the experience to produce it in the way that I want to. And thus, I'm putting it on the back burner for now while I kind of build the skills up that I actually need to develop it properly. And I hope that I can do that in the new year. The next few videos have actually been planned, and my goal is to have a video up on the 15th of each month this year. So if it all goes to plan, my next 2 videos will actually be game dev related, focusing on improving my skills. I hope to see you all in the new video, and here is to an amazing 2026.